What do you think the way Austin Reaves ended the season and just wasn't all that productive in the playoffs, wasn't the player that they needed him to be? Already you were looking at that backcourt and saying, is a backcourt like this going to work? You got Austin Reaves, you got, Luka Doncic. There just isn't enough defense. Clearly teams will try to take advantage of that. But I think we shouldn't forget how good and how productive Austin Reaves has been as a Laker, how much he's overplayed his value, not even overplayed his contract. He's just been a really good player. Go look at his stats over the last couple of years. He's been very, very good. Is there a world you think that the Lakers are looking at Austin Reaves, get close to February and saying to themselves, you know what, we got to move on from this? Or you think they're playing it out?
I think they're playing it out. I would keep Austin Reaves. I would sign Austin Reaves. I'm a big Austin Reaves supporter. I think getting rid of young, talented scorers in the league is always a mistake. Now, I understand if they don't think he's going to sign, they obviously know stuff that we don't, or there's some crazy offer that comes along where you're just nabbing so many picks and you go, you know what, we could really draft well and get someone who's a little bit more maybe equipped to play alongside Luka. I get it. But with LeBron, probably, we're assuming it's his last year as a Laker. I don't know. There's a lot going on there. But at some point, LeBron will not be there. Having Luka and Reaves growing together, and you're surrounding yourself with pieces, Vando, Marcus Smart, guys that can play defense. And I know that they've been injury prone a little bit, but you can keep adding to that. And to your point, like I remember having the conversation 2 months before. They were talking, is Austin Reaves the best third option in the league? And no, he was not good in the Minnesota series. But honestly, no one was. Honestly, outside of no one was really that good in that series. And the team was so poorly constructed with not having a center and having no size. So guys were basically trying to have to play lower in the rotation than they probably would. I think we're probably a little too down on Austin Reaves right now. And the only way I would trade him is if the Lakers are out of contention by the deadline and there's some King's ransom offer that you need.
Which I don't think that's going to be the case. I do agree that he's much more likely to be on the Lakers roster than not be on the Lakers roster. But here's a question that I would ask, and I think this is something that if you take a kind of a wider lens view, can a backcourt of Luka and Austin Reaves compete for a chip? Can that? It's not a fair question because you want to know, okay, well, who else is on the team? I mean, if who's your center? What does the rest of the roster look like? What's the depth? I mean, there's a lot of questions that come into that. Jalen Brunson has played with Luka, had pretty good success. Kyrie Irving has played with Luka, had pretty good success. So I think the one thing I would say is there is a little bit of a track record where Luka can have an offensive-minded guard with him and still have success. So I don't think there's really a question there. The question I just think becomes, if that's your backcourt, are you running a backcourt up there that is competing for an NBA championship based upon having two guys that from the defensive side are obviously not going to be nearly as good as some other backcourts that are out there? That's going to be the question. That's what Lakers are going to have to ask themselves. I've said this from the beginning. I think that Reaves has got a ton of value. I'm not out there trying to shop Austin Reaves, but it is impossible for me not to listen and not to, obviously take calls, ask the question, is this the right backcourt? But if you're asking me, hey, you're putting everything you have on the line, is Austin Reaves going to be traded this upcoming year? I don't think he's going to be traded.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not saying I wouldn't listen to offers, but people after having a bad series, people were like before the draft, trade him right now. Well, his value is at an all-time low. Were lower than it would have been when he was literally playing like an all-star halfway through the season. And I think that point's blown a little bit out of proportion. Like, yeah, Luka did go to the Western Conference Finals with Jalen Brunson. He went to the finals with Kyrie Irving. They've given you the blueprint of how to win with Luka. You have another running mate guard who maybe is not even a good defender, but can score. And you
got size too, right? Like you fill up. Mm-hmm. And you have size down low, and you have really good 3-and-D guys. You have players that, are specialists on the defensive side. You make Luka's life a lot easier because you know that, all right, yeah, maybe Luka's not going to be locking down people, but there's so many other players behind him that can help lock down. I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that.
Right. And it's like we saw this team at what its worst would be with Luka and Reaves, literally not having a center. yeah, then they get exposed like that. And I mean, when there's no size, and yes, Austin Reaves, Jaden McDaniels had a field day with him. So I understand people's frustration with Austin Reaves, but I think people are probably a little too quick to just ship him out of town. Again, unless some Kings ransom offer comes, I would keep him unless the Lakers are falling out of contention.
So to Mike here, I don't think anybody's saying he's as good as Jalen Brunson or Kyrie Irving. I will say this. No one knew how good Jalen Brunson was until he left Dallas, right? Until he got the keys in New York and it was like, go do your thing. And I think the idea is more both of these players played off ball with Luka. And that's kind of what Austin Reaves is doing, playing off ball. Now, there's obviously a lot of times that he's got the ball in his hands as well. So let me look a couple more of these comments. You know, it's kind of funny. We haven't heard Reaves' name in a while. Once the playoffs ended, all I heard about was Austin Reaves this, Austin Reaves that. And that one's gone kind of quiet. That one's gone kind of quiet for a while. Probably also because LeBron is posting photos with a Clippers logo in the background. That could also have something to do with it. But it's gone quiet. And now it feels like, okay, hey, the dust has settled. Let's start having the Austin Reaves conversation again. It feels like that's the case. Let me look at a couple more of these comments. Yeah. By the way, there are a lot of Laker fans that are saying, no. You got to shop this guy. We keep AR, we pay him a toxic $30 million contract, and later we complain. You know what's crazy? $30 million used to sound like a lot.
Yeah, it's not even that much in the NBA.
That's not, what I'm trying to tell you is toxic contracts are not $30 million anymore. And Austin Reaves is also young enough and good enough and has value in the league that I don't think it's going to be toxic unless this guy just nosedives, and I don't see him nosediving. All right, let's get a couple more in here. Yep. Tell me how you feel. Yeah, there are a lot of people that, and it's okay. This is everybody's opinion on here, and I want people's opinion. It feels like there are a lot of people much louder about Reaves ain't it than, keep Reaves on the team.
Yeah, and I do think a lot of this goes back to the playoffs. Like, I get it. I was frustrated that Reaves, too. He did not show up, and he didn't play well. And I know we heard he was foot injured, but his foot was injured. But everyone's injured in the playoffs. Again, I think the lack of size, that series.
There's a trickle effect. There's a trickle effect. Like what you're saying about the lack of size. Like if there's certain areas, I don't know. I'll give you an example. It's like in the NFL, if you don't have a good offensive line, what really?
You have Hall of Fame receivers everywhere. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, and you could. By the way, you can have an unbelievable quarterback. It doesn't matter. Like all these things need to connect.
And if there was a center last year that was playing well, let's just throw DeAndre Ayton in there. Will he be good? Will he not be good? We'll see. But then Rui is playing in his natural spot. He's not dropping down to center. LeBron is playing in his natural spot at the 3 or the 4, not dropping down to center. So then Reaves is really playing at the 2, not really guarding a 3 in Jaden McDaniels. So I think there's a massive, to your point, massive trickle effect that people are easy to just go ship Reaves off. It's like, I hear you. If there's a crazy offer, I get it. I would keep Reaves. I think we would look at trading Austin Reaves, and then we're like, who's going to help score when LeBron leaves with Luka? I think that's the next conversation.
Thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.